Kendra, and this is Hooked by Happenstance Makes Monday, episode number 24, Decisive. So today's word is decisive, and I'm going to just read the definition off my computer. It is an adjective meaning having the power or quality of deciding, putting an end to controversy, crucial or most important. As in, your argument was the decisive one. Also, characterized by or displaying no or little hesitation, resolute or determined. The general was known for his decisive manner. The third definition is indisputable or definite. And finally, the fourth definition is unsurpassable or commanding, as in a decisive lead. So the reason that this week has been decisive is that I have gone gung-ho into my whole idea of letting Peachlet, my little fibery doppelganger, help me pick my projects and get through some of the long to-do to want to gift kind of list that I have as far as holiday gifts and things that I would like to make, and just general projects that I tend to get sidetracked when gathering supplies for by all the other shiny new ideas in my brain, and then things don't get finished, and the things that I need to get done end up being, I don't know, more stressful than they need to be because they're getting done at the last minute. So Peachlet has helped me to become more decisive. She has taken on that power of deciding. Well, kind of. Now, why I think the Peachlet thing is working for me is because I don't deal well with other people telling me what to do. In fact, if somebody tells me what to do, I am more than likely to do the opposite just to spite them. But I made the decision to let Peachlet pick. So right there, I still have power in this situation. And secondly, I'm just using random chance through the whole Peachlet system to help me decide which yarns to focus on, but within a given drawer, I still have choice, and I can still go and follow those creative little rabbit trails that happen. I just do it in a more controlled way. So she is definitely helping me, and it also helps the idea of displaying no or little hesitation. I try and do it quickly because I film the Let Peachlet Pick videos. I don't pick before I film. So I turn on the camera, you and I have a little bit of a chat, I pick a pin off Peachlet, and then we go look in my stash. And I make the decision as I open whatever random box it tells me what I'm going to make. So it's not like I go, I wonder, and close the box and then go think about it and then film it. Nope, I open it up, I look at the box, and I immediately go, what was it I wanted to make out of this? And I pick something. I may not have an exact pattern, like with my son's cardigan, the brown one, the first project. I didn't know for sure which cardigan pattern I wanted, but I found it quickly. I had looked at several, but I knew that I wanted to make a cardigan, and it was going to be brown, and yeah. But it's been an enjoyable endeavor, so that is why this week has been a bit decisive for me. Actually, I got a decent amount of crocheting done, especially it kind of went in fits and spurts as it kind of happened. One of the things that I finished this week is this hat, which I'm wearing. I'll take it off. My hair is probably a mess. But this is a pattern that I made up. It is out of Lion Brand Heartland in the colors Biscayne, which I believe is the pink, and the blue one. I don't know what the color name is because I still have yarn wrapped around it. I'm like, why do I not remember this? So this blue, I actually had been making a shawl design, which I had frogged and just had everything wrapped around the label. So the label is in the middle of the skein. It's all wrapped up with yarn. I don't know which color it is, but I will find out someday. Anyways, what it says is it says, Happy Hooker. You know, like, yay, crochet. Gotta love that. And the inside, I did it with my floats on the inside. I did not carry my yarn underneath because I don't really like the way that looks. I've seen multiple people posting this week about things where they've carried yarn, and a lot of them I'm just like, I think that carrying yarn for great distances or even very short ones, I don't really enjoy it. So I do enjoy the way these floats look, and I like with that second layer of floated yarn on the inside. The hat is warmer. I kind of, in making up the proportions of the hat, I left it kind of big. I like having hats where they're not like a complete life commitment. You know, some hats fit so snugly that if you put it on your head, you are wearing that hat until the next time you wash your hair, because your hair is going to be so matted and there is no coming back from that. Well, I do like having a hat that has a little bit more wiggle room. So like I can put this on, I can take it off. It does smoosh my hair a little, but it's not that like long-term commitment to the hat hair. And I like that. So I did design this using a website called make8bitart.com, I think. If you Google make 8-bit art, it will show you the website. It is a free drawing site that has a transparent background of basically a grid of these gray and white, the transparent like background, and you can pick your colors. There's a number of colors you can pick, and you basically can color in the spots as you want, and you can play around with it till you get a pattern that you like. And you can actually change it so it's not just so there's more squares. I did it on a fairly large grid, but you can also adjust the grid after you've drawn something. So you can draw and then adjust the grid down behind it and play around with sizing and things that way. But the thing I liked is it must put a cookie on your computer or something, because every time I reopen it, what I had drawn on it was still there, so it didn't just immediately disappear. And you can also export the files, and there's a lot of ideas and things you can do with it. But I found it really useful for just quickly drawing up what I wanted to do. And originally, I didn't know, I wanted to do something that had like hooker on it, or like hashtag hooker, or something like cutesy with the word hooker in it. And then I started doing the, oh, what do they call it? The crown increases of the hat, and I realized that with the Heartland, it's kind of a thinner yarn, thinner worsted, and so to get it to be the size diameter I was going to need for my crown before I went straight for a while, I was going to have 80 stitches, and I needed to have words that were enough to fill in that, and so Happy Hooker it became, and I like it. And I like, because you can't really tell what it says unless you're looking. There's like a definite pattern. Like I've done plenty of things lately where the contrast was poor, and so you couldn't see the pattern because of that. But you can see the pattern, you just don't necessarily know what it says unless you read it, and if you read it, then you won't be offended by it. You'll think it's funny, and probably, because you'd be awfully close to my face. And if you're awfully close to my face and read it and don't like it, well then you can just remove yourself from my face. That's kind of how that goes. So this is one of the things that is off my hook this week. The other thing that is off my hook this week, I'm going to call it off my hook. It is still lacking eyes. This is the second project that Peachlet picked. It is a pig for my daughter for Christmas. I made it out of light raspberry Super Saver, a size G hook, and I used the crochet along pig pattern from Amigurumi To Go. You can find it on Ravelry. It will take you to the Amigurumi To Go blog where this is all listed. So this is the body. The body and the head are worked together, and then the muzzle is separate, as well as the other parts. And yeah, I haven't put the eyes on yet. There's a cute little curly tail. The eyes haven't gone on yet because, well, number one, once it's done, the kids, saw me working on it, but they have not seen it all put together since I sewed the pieces on, and I don't really want them to until Christmas. And the, I'm out of black Red Heart Super Saver. I do have some with Love, but I need to get more Super Savers. I'm just going to put aside the toys that I'm making for the kids for Christmas, and when I get some, I'll just do the eyes all at once. But the piggy is going in the off the hook pile. Those are the two cards I got to take off my on the hook list this week. And then I put a lot of work into a lot of other projects. So we'll just go down the line of things that I worked on in no real particular order, because I don't really remember the order, to be honest. So one thing that I worked on this week was my Lisa's shawl, which, as you can see, is here. And I had been basically at the end of the ball last week. So I had been here. I'd been working on this first meshy stripe here. And so I put in another mesh section and then another solid section I found going through my stash that I had another ball of this Araucania Longco solids. I had another ball that I had still rolled up, probably from the first time I made the Lisa shawl. So I am just working my way through that, and it really is super pleasant to work with, and I'm enjoying. I think the main way I'm going to end up wearing this is going to be as a bandana cowl, but like kind of up like this. But I do like the option too to open it up as a full shawl. So we'll see how much longer it needs to be, but I just love the weight of this. It is mercerized cotton, so it has just a different feel, a fingering weight mercerized cotton than a lot of the other things I like that I wear. And I also like the slight weight that the beads are giving it, but not a huge amount. And I like that there's going to be beads in this central section that you would see when I'm wearing it, but I don't really need the beads like down here, the parts that kind of get tucked in and just kind of floofed around. So I think that that'll actually be nice to not have that weight in the following sections. So I'm just going to keep going until, I don't know, until I don't think this is fun anymore, basically. I do intend to do, like I had done 1, 2, 3 of the mesh sections, and then a slightly bigger mesh section. So I want to finish out that 1, 2, 3, and then a slightly bigger one, and then we'll kind of see where we're at that point if I want to add a different edging. But I think I'm just going to keep the edging on this super simple because the beads and the design themselves really just are quite striking. There's a slight tonal to the yarn too that I think stands out, especially in the more simple stitching. The next thing is my fall sweater. I told you that I was going to give the sleeves of this some love because, as you remember from last week, I have been working on the back and the front bottoms, and I did not make any more progress on these segments. This is made out of, I love this wool in the color Earth Tones, and I am using a J hook. Oh, for the Lisa shawl, I'm using a size F hook. So this is the first sleeve. This is how far I got. I'm very happy with the ribbing, and like I even had used some stitch markers to hold together, make sure that I liked the way it was fitting. And I am having some issues with understanding the way that the pattern tells you to do the increases. I am using the Over Easy cowl neck crocheted sweater from the Yarnspirations website. It's going to make this super simple cowl neck sweater. I have not decided whether there's like this little arm detail. I think I'm going to take it out and I'm just going to do the arm straight because I think that this yarn is just pretty enough on its own. I don't think it needs any additional patterning besides the base pattern of the like the textured stitch. I don't think it needs the extra ribbing bit. So I'm just going to go straight through. But something about the way that they are telling you to do the increases, I mean, I think that they are ultimately right. Just, I am not interpreting them correctly. I need to get out a piece of paper and like fully write some things out and make sure the math is so that I get increases that will make a sleeve that fits my arm. So I need to play around with that, and I just haven't put the energy into that because I have been working on other things. So I will continue to give this some love so long as Peachel doesn't pick any more gigantic projects for me, but she does seem to be picking some things that are a wee bit time consuming. Now the next thing that I worked on, I started last night, and this is the third Peachlet Picks project that she has assigned me, and I am going to be making this hooded sweater vest for my 8-year-old. It is in the October 2017 issue of Crochet World, and I am making it out of Red Heart with Love in 3 colors. Red Heart with Love in a purple. This purple is called Aubergine. There is a gray that's called Pewter, and then I'm actually using some black yarn that I got in a mill end bag from Joann's. I am just assuming it is with Love because it feels just like the black with Love that I have, but I am using the stuff out of the mill end bag because I have more of it, and that way if I run out of the other two colors, I can simply switch and just do more of the Black with Love. I'm using a J hook, which is kind of my happy place when it comes to hooks. And this is the back of the sweater vest. I made this yesterday. So the sweater vest just tells you to do it in solid colors, but I was not going to have enough of any one color. So I decided to stripe the red heart with love. And as you can see, it starts with ribbing at the bottom and then simply shaping up the back. And I haven't woven in ends or anything because I will do that after I stitch things together. And I also have completed the bottom ribbing for the front of the sweater. Now, so the way that I have been catching my yarn along the side, I think you can see it there, means that I have to kind of keep moving the yarn back and forth to get it to catch in the yarn that's going, the black that was going back and forth from the left to the right side. And I had the pewter coming from one end and the aubergine from the other. Well, things got a little bit tangled up, which basically just meant that I barreled through this because I knew that if I put it back in the bag or just let it sit for any length of time, I was going to have some major tangling problems. But if I just kept after it and got through the piece, I would be fine. So that's part of the reason why I have not started on the front yet, is I just need to pick a good period of time to sit down and just basically sit and make it all at once, because it's not a project I can comfortably put in and out of the bag without having to do a great detangling process each time. Or I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. So that's just kind of my plan, is to sit and do this in several sittings. Now, I worked on this last night from, I think I spent about 8 hours with the project. And in that time, I also made dinner, ate dinner, did baths and things with the kids. So I probably spent somewhere between 4, maybe 6 hours max working on it. So it is going pretty quick, especially once I figured out what progression of striping and things that I wanted to do, and also kind of got down a technique. I did start to tangle things less once I figured out what to move forward and back to make everything work the way that I wanted. But I am very, very happy with how that sweater is turning out. I have 2 more projects that I'm working on. One of them is hiding back here. So, in a recent Freaker Frog, I unearthed this bag. I'm calling them my Bad Mood Blanket Squares. I talk about it in the Freaker Frog, how I came about having these blanket squares, but I decided that I needed to do something useful and good with them. So, I took the 42 squares, which I had made in a mood blanket I had started in 2016, that was abandoned for reasons, and I decided to encapsulate each one with some Dove Super Saver. I used a J hook, or that was my plan. I accidentally used a G hook for a little while and had to go and frog that stuff out to get everything to lay right and be even, but everything is better now. So I went around and I encapsulated each square with the Dove, and then I just went ahead and slip stitched these squares together, which kind of gives this neat, I like the kind of ridgy detail. And it's not going to matter the slightly lumpy texture that will give you. I have 14, or no, I have 7 of these done, because I'm going to make 14 total strips like this. And I have not woven in or cut my ends yet, because I just am not quite ready to do that. But my plan is the chair that I am sitting in right now, I keep a beach towel over it. I got it for $5 at our Habitat for Humanity restore. I have a matching one that's sitting in our living room, but this one has come to be my comfy chair in my office. Well, the fabric on it just kind of is a magnet for cat fur. And as you saw Jezebel crawling all over me, I am apparently a magnet for cat fur as well. So I keep a towel on the chair because it like mitigates that problem just a little bit. But I would like to cover it in something cute. And I thought initially about just making like an Afghan I could throw over. But when I put these together, I started measuring to figure out what size Afghan I would want. Turns out that 3 across is enough to basically just cover the like seat portion. So I'm kind of going to make a cover that's going to slide onto my chair, but still slide off of it so I can wash it when I want. So I'm taking my Bad Mood Blanket Squares and turning them into a good mood chair cover, I think. Or I was calling it my better mood blankets. I think it's a better mood chair cover for me to sit in and be in a better mood. And I think it will be a cool, so far I'm enjoying the process, and I think it will be a cool finished product. I have gotten almost all the way through the first skein of the Dove Super Saver, and I have this much left. And I have one more skein of this in stash. My goal was also to not buy any new yarn. We'll see if that goal is going to be attainable when it comes to this project. I do like Dove Super Saver. I realize I should just give you a little tip. You know, some of the variegated yarns don't look very, like some of them look really cheap or like tacky. But I do think that the Dove Super Saver has a really, like a classy look to it that you don't get out of all of the variegateds from Red Heart. Now, I love me some of the tacky variegateds. There's, you know, they are some of my favorites, but there's definitely a tacky factor. And sometimes you see things people make them, you go, okay, that's kind of tacky. But I don't ever have that feeling with the Dove. So, yeah, the Dove Super Saver, if you haven't tried it, give it a try. And I do tend to find too that its texture is, it's not abrasive like some of the colors of Super Saver can be. Then, last but not least, tonight I started working on this. This is going to be a body of a turkey. It is a pattern of my own creation. I am working on this as a sample for a tutorial I will be releasing this week for all of you. Last year on my daily vlog channel, I did a project called 31 Projects in 31 Days during October of 2016. And during that time, I did 31 crafty or organizational projects, and I did what I called vlogtorials. So I did them and I told you about them, but I did not necessarily go like, so now we're going to make a magic circle and you're going to put 6 stitches. I just went, so I wrote up a pattern and this is how I made it, and then I sewed it together, and you know, I just gave you an overview of how I made the project. Well, I am planning to do a tutorial that tells you specifically how to make it and walks you through step by step on how to make the adorable turkey. And this currently is being made out of Red Heart with Love in the color chocolate. It is leftovers from the cardigan that I made for my 3-year-old last week. So I'm going to use that, and then for the tail, I'm going to use this Red Heart Super Saver. Last year's turkeys had a more, like a fall-based color scheme that had more like oranges in them. But this is what I happen to have in stash that kind of had that variegated look. And I think it'll make for a nice turkey tail. So I'll be working on these, and you will see the finished product on the channel later this week. And obviously, hopefully finished turkeys next week. So that is everything that I worked on, aside from I did post another We Hook Wednesday video this week, but I had made that pocket a couple weeks ago, and I also added another segment to my Yarn Tales shawl, which you can see on the channel. There is a link right here to it, in fact, and down here is a link to the Let Peach Lit Pick playlist if you'd like to see what she has been telling me to be decisive about and get accomplished. In the description box below me, you will also find a link to my Etsy shop. I put up an update today with winter themed bags. There are some gorgeous snowflake bags that the photos almost don't even do justice, and I will try and put up an update video also on the channel this week sometime, but some of the bags might get scooped up before I get around to making a video, so you might want to head over there and see what's up. And I will see you all next time. Bye!